All right, welcome everybody to Aggressively Speaking with Tony and Troy. My name is Tony Dombrowski.
I'm Troy Frank.
And welcome to our podcast.
Now, this is a little bit different than what the usual Quasar Vision podcast is like, or anything Quasar Vision related for that matter.
Right.
This is a sports podcast.
John's about to do a backflip out of the studio.
Yeah, John's ears are about to explode if he hears any of this.
His toes are just plowing through his boots right now.
He doesn't want.
To the bottom.
But dude,
John's tiptoeing out of here through the bottom of his shoes.
Hey, I want nothing to do with this.
Don't even know why you're here.
just kicks us out of his house.
Actually, this whole thing can just end.
You know what? Screw this idea that we've been talking about for weeks. But dude, I mean, I talked about it before we went live. Like, we've been talking about doing this since
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since I was a sophomore in high school. Since I was a fat little immature sophomore.
Yeah, this is like 5 years ago.
Dude, it's been a while since we've been talking about this.
Yeah. As 21-year-olds, 5 years. That's a fucking lifetime right there.
Dude, we've made it. We're finally living the dream.
We are living the dream.
Another brick
At least
on the
you're living the
foundation.
dream.
Another brick on the foundation. You got a good job going for you.
Yeah, but it's not a passion of mine. Not like you, where, you've now done internship for Fox 2 in the sports division, and you're living out your life just watching sports day in, day out. That's the dream.
Dude, I am living the dream. But, hey, man, we got this podcast going, Aggressively Speaking. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I love it.
And I feel like it's a good idea for the first episode to kind of really introduce ourselves, because maybe the entire audience doesn't know maybe necessarily my views or especially your views. Like, if a bunch of my Twitter audience is watching right now, they probably don't know how you feel.
No.
I know how you feel. I think it's hilarious.
And you're worried.
People are going to hate you.
You are shitting your pants at the thought of me speaking my mind
People are going to
on
tweet.
the internet.
People are going to tweet at me and say, "Hey, F that guy." I'm like, whoa.
I don't want that guy to be on your podcast ever again.
My podcast.
Even though it has my name in it.
Somebody kill him.
Tony, get that guy off your pod. Well, his name is in it.
So, all right. You want to...
Who do you want to start with? Because we have a lot of teams to talk about. There's 4 major sports teams and 2 collegiate teams, obviously. Who do you want to start with?
Let's start with the most irrelevant.
Lions.
I was going to say Tigers, but okay.
We got to start off on a high note. We just got to rip that Band-Aid off. Just grab people instantly.
I have changed my opinion since the other day, though. On
the Lions?
Yeah.
All right, so people probably know how I feel about the Lions. I mean, I'm obviously one of the biggest homers you ever find. I came into the season.
He's the flag twirler.
I came into the season saying I think this is like a 10-win team. They could compete for the North, get that playoff win.
Okay, Spielman.
Okay, hold on. I need to jump in. So this is already how this show's going to go.
Yeah.
You guys are both going to be talking shit the whole time towards each other.
Yeah.
What did you think was going to happen?
On anything.
What did you think was going to happen?
Whether Troy agrees or not, he's going to say what he
shit.
needs to say.
I sort of already agree with him, but I'm always talking shit at him.
I could say something Troy completely agrees with. He's like, Tony, shut up.
Shut the fuck up. I agree with you, but you need to shut your fucking mouth.
Shut your hole. But, I came into the season really optimistic, and now that they look like a 3-win football team, I think I've seen enough from Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn to prove to me that they aren't the guys. I mean, Matt Patricia has shown nothing in his 2 years. He was hired to be the guy after...
No, that's not true. He's shown you how to look really good in a garbage bag.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is where this podcast is going.
Ooh, yeah.
This is where we're going.
No, just kidding. Yeah, you're right. He has shown absolutely
he was hired.
No.
He took over back-to-back 9-7 seasons. He had a roster and a franchise quarterback to move the needle, and we've gone backwards.
I thought it was funny that when people talk about Paul Pasqualoni, and
he hired him.
I know, but people talk about him as oh, this defense sucks because of him, and then other people respond with, no, it's Matt Patricia's defense, because he's a defensive coordinator at heart. It's his defense. And I look at it, I look at it as, why aren't we taking that exact same analogy to the Patriots when he was with them? It was Bill Belichick's defense, not his. He was just a patsy, just like Paul Pasqualoni is for Patricia now.
He was the play caller for the Patriots defense, though. It wasn't Bill.
I know, but the defense has always been a Bill Belichick defense. It's even better now.
It's a lot better now that he's mainly the guy. Like,
exactly.
They don't have a DC right now. It's Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
But
I think it's always been his defense. I think, Patricia had input, but I don't think it was ever Patricia's defense in New England.
And we were both guys that really we loved the Matt Patricia hire.
Oh yeah, when there was a campaign to hire him, I legitimately a Halloween costume did it.
You had the beard, you had the pencil, the backwards hat. I mean, you were down.
I was all in. But that was just because the Lions have never been in a position to make their own hire, like actually take control of the reins of a coach hire before. They've always been the bridesmaid, never the bride.
It seemed like things were going so good for this organization when they hired Matt Patricia, Yeah. Like, they fired Jim Caldwell, which is something that a lot of people wanted them to do because they weren't... By firing Caldwell, they were saying... Bob Quinn literally said 9-7 is not good enough, And that hire of Patricia kind of showed us, maybe we're actually taking a step forward as a franchise. But instead, we've gone literally backwards. I mean, we were 6-10 last year, and then this year, after signing Trey Flowers, Justin Coleman, and Jesse James, those fat-ass contracts, and taking, T.J. Hockenson number 8 overall, they're going to be a 3-win football team. And people will use the injury excuse. Listen, Matthew Stafford, even when he was healthy and putting up MVP-type numbers, they were still 3-4-1.
Yeah, I mean, Stafford, God bless him, he cannot help this franchise win. I mean, as good as he is,
he's put the franchise on his back for how long?
He's had good offenses, good defenses, and none of that. I mean, it equates to maybe getting into the playoffs, but other than that,
they can never get him enough.
Unless they have a fully complete team, I don't see them ever getting past the first round of the playoffs.
Which it's not Stafford's fault. It just goes to show you how incompetent this organization really is.
Yeah,
they can never get it right, it seems like. They never have a running game. They never have a great offensive line. They can't get him enough weapons. And then defensively, they can't get the right pieces on defense, or they don't have the right coaching staff.
I feel like this whole complaint that getting him enough weapons, that's never been existent, ever. Maybe in the first couple of years when he was here, when we had receivers like Braylon Edwards.
It was rough.
It was was Braylon? I don't know, but it was Calvin Johnson and a bunch of scrubs. But
don't talk about Nate Burleson like that.
No, it wasn't until Nate Burleson that things started changing around, and we actually had threats on offense. Yeah. And I mean, we never had that running back, but we had plenty of receivers come through this team in the past decade.
But then again, it goes back to my point. They just can never get it right. They can never get a run game, or they don't have enough pieces on defense, or they don't have an offensive line, or the OC can't figure out a play to save his life, And
I know I'm going to get killed for saying this, but...
So, yeah, what exactly have you changed since when I talked to you? You said you changed something.
Yeah.
What changed?
I made the statement just to get shock out of Tony. I said, draft a quarterback.
Yeah, and I fell over after you sent that text to me.
I don't think that. I think this year's not the right year for a quarterback. I do think that we should be looking for one pretty soon here.
If you want to look for your future replacement because of Stafford's back issues, I'll give you that. It's been 2 straight years he's had this major back issue, and right now he has the same injury.
And he's in his mid-30s.
He has the same injury right now that derailed Tony Romo's career,
Yeah.
So he retired because of this injury and because of Dak Prescott.
Exactly. And I think this league has moved on from the pocket passer. I mean, I think Tom Brady's the last good one. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, as good as he is, he's not a pocket passer. I mean, he gets out of the pocket, he scrambles, he can find open lanes.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
think
look at right now. Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, like they can all scramble and be deadly.
This league has left that breed of quarterback behind, for sure.
No, I'll give you that, but at the same time, when I look at what's wrong with this team, I don't look at the quarterback whatsoever. Like it's like
No, he is the least of our worries, even though I think we should still be looking forward. And I think that just tells you how bad this team really is.
So, would you fire Matt Patricia though after this season?
Oh, for sure. Okay. I do not want them to.
That's the main point I was getting at because
I do not want them to make the decision on that top 5 pick that we're getting.
The big topic on Lions Twitter is whether or not they should keep Quinn Trisha for a 3rd year. There's a lot of people that say yes. There's a lot of people that say no. I'm one of those people that say no. You're one of them.
Yeah.
Like
there's no reason to keep. Why? Just because you don't know what's out there? That's the case every single time. You never know what's out there.
Who are you going to hire if you fire them?
Anybody else. Literally anybody else.
Do I look like Martha Ford?
Anybody else at this exact point in time is better than what we have. I mean, that's the way I look at it. I mean, you always got to take a chance on somebody.
When you're taking steps back like the Lions are this year, it's just like something ain't right. I mean, the Lions literally... One of the reasons why I was so high on this football team coming into the season was because...
They looked like they were in a position to actually make noise.
I said year 2 under Matt Patricia will be better than year 1. I was flat out wrong about that. They've looked worse this year than last year. Like... Matt Patricia was hired to... What's
the difference, do you think, between last year and this year? I mean, it seems like the talent's better.
I don't know. It's just...
Let's take the last 5 games out of question because Stafford's been injured for those. So, well, I mean, the 3-4-1.
The defense has regressed majorly. I mean, to close out the second half last year, the defense was actually playing really, really well when they got Snacks Harrison, you know?
Yeah.
Last year, the narrative was, okay... Stafford needs to get healthy, and the offense needs to be better. This year, in the first half of the season, the offense was great. I mean, they were top 5 in the league.
Yeah.
The defense was bottom 5. I mean, this defensive line that we all touted was going to be really, really good, including myself, has been horrible. You know, outside of Trey Flowers, no one's done anything.
Could you say it's because that the defense, other than a couple guys, was basically brand new to working together? I mean, you got, Coleman, you got Flowers, you got Daniels. They all haven't played together. And you think it was just a matter of getting used to each other? You don't think it was that?
I don't believe that whatsoever. I mean, you sign them to that much money, guys like Trey and Justin Coleman, you expect them to be impact players right away. And Trey has been what his contract has lived up to. I thought Trey has been easily the best defensive player so far. While Justin Coleman, he started off great, punching footballs left and right, but after that...
You think that Trey Flowers is the best defensive player on the team this year?
He's playing like it.
I mean, you don't think it's just because he's been playing...
Who do you think's playing well on this defense? The linebackers are all trash. Jared Davis blows. Jelani Tavai's a rookie, but he's had some up and down moments. Christian Jones ain't all that. I love Darius Slay. But if you compare him to what Trey Flowers is doing this year, I think it's kind of...
I don't know. I think Trey Flowers is taking advantage of some lackluster offensive lines this season. Like, he has great games against mediocre offensive lines.
I mean, outside of the first couple games of the season when he was recovering from shoulder surgery.
That's true.
I thought he's lived up to the contract.
Yeah.
But, I'll give you Darius Slay. But outside of...
And he's the guy that's not going to be here next year.
Yeah, they're going to trade him because...
Because this team is in rebuild after signing... like $60 million worth of contracts last season.
They're going to give him the Quandre Diggs treatment. They're going to trade him because he's speaking out about
and get a 6th-round pick out of it. Okay.
Yeah. Which actually leads me to my next point. Bob Quinn. Another reason why I want Bob Quinn gone is, first of all, I mean, I'll give you Kenny Golladay, Frank Ragnow, Tracy Walker. I'll give you him, Graham Glasgow. I'll give you those 4. Those have been really good draft picks by Bob Quinn. Outside of that,
did you say Agnew?
He made the Pro Bowl his rookie year as a punt returner.
I mean, didn't he return a punt at the beginning of the year this year too?
Yeah, in Philly, but
yeah, I mean, he's been consistent.
He's also
as a punt returner and kick returner.
I'm not going to... Come on, Troy.
What? Punt return and kick return are a huge part of the game.
Yeah, and he's also gotten hurt these past 2 years.
Well, I mean, so goes for Bob Quinn draft picks.
Like, no, seriously though. Outside
Seems
of
like every one of his picks has a major injury they got to deal with.
outside of Kenny Galladay, Frank Ragnow, Graham Glasgow, and Tracy Walker, like seriously, all Bob Quinn's draft picks are like some huge question marks. You know.
Yeah. Taylor Decker, who I had huge high hopes for going into his first year.
He's looked really bad after his rookie year.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if it was the injury after that first year that got to him or
I don't
what,
know.
or if it was like a scheme change, but
Taylor
man,
Decker,
he's a disappointment.
Jared Davis.
Jared Davis, I never liked, honestly. I don't know why I didn't like him. Maybe it was because I like Reuben Foster, which was a bad decision on my part, but
low key though, seeing how good TJ Watt's playing right now with Pittsburgh, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, come on, how do you fail to see that coming?
I low key wanted to see TJ Watt.
How do you fail to see that coming? The brother of JJ Watt, and he's not gonna be good at defense. Come on,
I low key wanted to see the Lions go after him instead of Jared Davis, but they got Jared.
It's the Bosa effect, you know. If you got two guys that both play basically the same position, you know they're gonna be good. That are brothers.
Yeah. You know, just look at Bob Quinn's first round draft picks. Taylor Decker doesn't look like he's going to get a second contract. Jared Davis, no way he gets a second contract. Frank Ragnow, again, I'll give you Frank because he is an all-pro center. I mean, he is easily Bob Quinn's best first round draft pick. And then this year, TJ Hawkinson. I love Hawk, but when you take a tight end,
it was a failure.
When you take a tight end 8 overall, you're putting some high expectations on that guy.
That dude better be Gronk or better.
That's what I'm saying. You're putting some high expectations on that guy. And when he has a season like he did this year, in which, first of all, they weren't using him correctly. I mean, how are you going to draft TJ 8 overall and then sign Jesse James to all that money from Pittsburgh and not use him? They're not using the tight ends.
No. They're using him as blockers, if anything. And it's like blockers for what? Bo
Scarborough.
I was about to say Bo Scalabrini. No, but Bo Scarborough.
Bo Scarabaloni.
No, but yeah, they're just using him as blockers for these like second and third string running backs. It's like at this point, you're back to the old Lions that we know, and you don't have a running game. Just pass. I mean, Bo's good enough. He's a solid replacement.
He's been fine, yeah.
But yeah, just become a passing team again. Throw 500 times a season.
Well, when your defense can't stop anybody, it's not going to help either. But you know, again, going back to Hawk, though, like they just aren't using him correctly. And when he has a season like he did this year, in which he didn't put up the numbers we thought he would, and then he got hurt,
I did hear
people are going to be like, "Oh man, what the hell, Bob Quinn?"
I did hear a conspiracy theory about Hawkinson from the fan favorite Valeni show.
Oh God. Okay.
It was a caller. He said,
"Oh boy."
He said, do you think that they drafted Hawkinson because the Gronk deal in the offseason fell through? They wanted Gronk.
I mean, if they
couldn't get him, so they drafted a tight end.
If they traded for Gronk and that deal went through, I don't think they pay Jesse James. I don't think they draft Hawk. So maybe, but again, though, you know, it just goes back to what I said about Bob Quinn. 3 out of 4 first round picks aren't looking that hot, and then you look after the first round. Kerryon Johnson. I love Kerryon. He can't stay healthy.
No.
He can't stay
healthy. He's just falls victim to our running back issue that we've had since Barry Sanders. We've had guys that were capable, Javid Best, Kevin Jones, that were all capable running backs and actually were good when they played healthy. But they weren't healthy. They just got injured the first couple seasons of their career and couldn't recover. Mm-hmm. And it just seems to be this ongoing thing with the Lions ever since Barry retired, that these running backs can't get it together. Mm-hmm. And I think Kerryon just falls victim to that same trope.
Unfortunately, because I like Kerryon, but yeah, he can't stay healthy. Deshaun Hand, beast when he's healthy. He can't stay healthy. Look at how many second-round draft picks Bob Quinn has already gotten rid of or will get rid of. You know, Tease Tabor. Ashawn Robinson, I don't know if he's getting a second contract.
I want to talk about people he's gotten rid of and how good they are now.
Oh, you want to talk about Quandre Diggs?
I want to talk about Quandre Diggs, Kyle Van Noy, Larry Warford.
No, I want to focus solely on Quandre Diggs. Okay,
but I mean, all those names I mentioned are way too good to be not on this team right now.
When Quandre Diggs got traded, that was really the first time that I noticed something was up with this whole Patriot way thing, you know?
Yeah.
You don't trade a team captain after you extended the previous 2 off seasons ago, mid-season, unless like something went on behind closed doors, which something went on behind closed doors.
Ooh, I'm hearing that again.
Oh,
whatever it is.
Christ.
Jesus, because I folded my arms.
No, we've tried.
Okay, it went away. For now.
Until it comes back.
In 5 minutes. Get ready.
It will.
But yeah, Quandre, he is just, he was always one of my favorite. Like behind Darius Slay, he was my favorite.
I loved Quandre Diggs. I was literally heartbroken when we traded him because it made no sense to me. Like it came out of nowhere. You know, Tom Palacero, the NFL Network, tweeting, "Oh, we got a trade because it's right around the trade deadline." Quandre Diggs to Seattle. I'm like, what? You trade a team captain and a 7th for
I just
a 5th.
trade Stafford at that point.
Like I didn't.
Might as well. He's another team captain and he's another trusted voice in the locker room. Trade him too.
I understand the trade then. I still don't understand it now because first of all, the guy that you drafted to eventually replace him, and you obviously did, Will Harris out of Boston College. I hate criticizing rookies, but man,
Dude's absent.
Will Harris looks like complete trash. He's getting busted every single game, and it's like.
And what about what's his name that we
he's a
took in the
rookie.
second round?
He's a rookie. I hate to do this, but oh my goodness, he looks awful. Not to mention too, you know, Quandre. He went over to Seattle and. Pete Carroll, you know, he's talks about how Quandre is a team leader. He's an example, and how great of a player he is. And Quandre's making plays with the Seahawks too, like you saw on Sunday Night Football against the Rams.
3 interceptions in 4 games.
3 interceptions in 4 games. He had 2 against the Rams this past Sunday at the time of recording.
Couple forced fumbles,
including a pick 6. I mean. Quandre's looking really good with a real defensive head coach.
Like if he was on the Seahawks since day one, he'd probably be in running for Defensive Player of the Year. Which it's just so frustrating.
Which it goes back to this whole Patriot Way thing. Quandre probably spoke out about the Patriot Way and what's going on here, and Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia said, "Yeah, you're not culture fit. Get out." And you get these Lion defenders on Twitter that'll be like,
"You know what's what's kind of going into my head, that's another conspiracy theory that I just thought of. All these guys that are speaking their mind, they all play defense. Which side of the line is the worst on this team? The defense.
Well, yeah, Glover Quinn. Glover Quinn was a Caldwell guy. He asked to be released, and he got it.
I'm thinking this defense just isn't playing for Patricia.
Well,
because
Glover Quinn also went on the Pat McAfee show last week, and he's like, yeah, I don't know how much this team really likes Patricia. So I made a video that day like saying like, guys, this is a former like team leader, a guy who is respected in that locker room even still to today. He's got a lot of friends still in that locker room.
Completely off topic real quick. The Pat McAfee show, it's fantastic.
Welcome to Aggressively Speaking. Troy just cuts me off to say the most random stuff.
I was thinking to myself, I was like, sweet, I can jump in. And then it was just more stuff I don't know about.
I mean, if it wasn't sports related, Pat McAfee would be like a great podcast. I mean, the sports related podcast, it's a great podcast, but like if
Pat McAfee's awesome.
If he didn't talk about sports all the time, he'd be like,
he's a former football player turned into like media legend, really.
Yeah. He's like if
he's a media legend,
he's the sports equivalent of like a Joe Rogan.
Oh.
Yeah.
But is he like sports only?
99% of the time.
Okay. Well, that's why I don't know him.
Yeah.
So no big deal.
Yeah, but like I said, if he kind of strayed a little bit more from sports, he'd be a lot more well known and well liked among the podcast community instead of just the sports community. But otherwise,
you know who isn't well liked? Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn.
Yeah, good segue.
Unless you're a Lions slappy and you're like, no, they deserve one more year. Like
yeah,
Chris
if you're a slappy out of any of these teams,
what do you have to say?
They're not going to like us.
What do you have to say to the people who say give Patricia one more year? And then after this, we'll segue into another team. Because we've been talking Lions for a while. We got to talk about other teams.
I mean, this is the team that's hot right now. So
I had told you we should start with them. Hot.
What is that? What is this? The Polar Express now? Come on.
Oh, come on. What I said was funnier than that. Shut up.
Come on, Troy.
Jesus. The people that want
This
Patricia
podcast
and
is off the
Quinn,
rails.
the people that want Patricia and Quinn to stay one more year, I say, what do you want them to prove to you in that one more year that they can turn it around? And they're not San Francisco. This team is not San Francisco.
People compare them to San Francisco all the
It's
time.
not though.
I know.
It's far from.
That's disrespectful to the 49ers. They're a real organization who actually won Super Bowls.
Yes. They're making competent moves over there. We're not. We just traded away Quandre Diggs for
A song.
a condom.
Oh my God.
Don't know why I thought of that, but it was funny.
Welcome to Aggressively Speaking.
But I mean, yeah, we basically just got a box of scraps for him. San Francisco isn't making those kind of moves. Everybody was up in arms about Quandre Diggs, and I don't see people in San Francisco up in arms about anything they're doing. So to say that this is the exact same kind of franchise that San Francisco is,
when you're winning, there's not a lot to complain about.
I know.
The Lions aren't winning, obviously, while San Fran is 11-2 at the time we make this.
Yeah. And I mean, they got a pretty young quarterback over there too, with no injury problems.
Well,
he has an injury problem, but that's kind of
he tore his ACL last year. But,
yeah, last year. But
yeah.
I mean, so far this year,
he's been
looking
healthy.
Yeah, he's been healthy. I mean, and he's young enough to, if he's got an injury, he can spring back, just like Stafford was at the beginning of his career. So I mean, they have a bright future ahead of them with a young quarterback, and they have the record to prove it. When was the last time the Lions were 11-2? Exactly.
Oh boy.
So I mean, they don't need to prove nothing. Lions, they have a lot to prove, and I don't think this regime is the ones that got to prove it. I think they've already shown us what they can do.
We'll be talking a lot more Lions as we get closer and closer towards the offseason. We really see what happens to Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn if they get that third year or not, which they better not. But
Ford family, I say they will.
I don't know what they'll do. I don't know. We'll see, though. It's the Lions. No one knows what's going on in Allen Park.
So do you want to go from...
Who do you want to talk about now?
So you want to go from most hot to most cold, which is that team you're representing there on your forehead?
We could, I guess. I mean, the baseball offseason.
I mean,
hot.
there was a little news snippet from this morning or last night. The Al Avila quote.
Which one? There's like 20 of them.
The one that...
How his bed's feeling because he's sleeping?
What?
Dude, Al Avila's asleep right now, dude.
Well, yeah, that. But I mean,
Bless you.
I'm talking about...
Sorry about that. I turned the mic away. I tried my best.
You're good. You're good. I'm over here, like, clearing my throat and sneezing and coughing over here, so you're fine.
I keep clearing my throat, so we're all doing disgusting things. I'm like...
Yeah, we're
I'm
gross,
about to
man.
just start puking. Why not?
Oh, God.
You got something caught in your throat, you just keep gulping and gulping and gulping.
Pull my pants down, stand in front of the camera for the rest of the episode.
Waggle your schlong in front of the mic.
Back to sports. Go to
my
sports.
God.
Sports.
Oh, my God.
Tony did not like that.
Tony hated that. I guess you can cut that part if you want. I don't care.
Tony's a little saint.
Tony's a...
I would never waggle my schlong in front of the camera.
Okay, I didn't mean to derail it. Go back.
All right.
Well,
no,
that's a better conversation than the Detroit Tigers. I mean,
yeah. Well, I was talking about Al Avila's quote of "We are 3 years away."
Oh, that one. Yeah, and I posted I quoted that tweet with the Stephen A. video, like, "Oh, I'm not trying to be disrespectful," and he kept on laughing because it's funny.
But I mean, what's your take on that whole?
They're not
debacle?
3 years away. They're like 10 years away. I mean, this team's in trouble, dude. Like, this team is legitimately looking at like maybe a 10-year rebuild. Like, if you look at their farm system, yeah, they're loaded from a pitching standpoint. Guys like Casey Mize, Matt Manning, Tarek Skubal, Kyle Funkhauser, etc., etc. But from a position player standpoint, outside of Riley Green, who they took in the first round last year...
Aren't they getting like 3,000 phone calls about Nico Goodrum, though? According to Al Avila.
Apparently Nico Goodrum's getting interest, and apparently Matthew Boyd's getting interest too, but God forbid.
Even though...
Al Avila does not want to trade Matthew Boyd. Like, it's not happening.
Yeah.
He wanted Gleyber Torres. You know who Gleyber Torres is. Troy's not a big baseball fan, so
Not anymore.
whenever I talk baseball, I got to make sure I know who he's talking about. Do you know who Gleyber Torres is on the Yankees? He's like their big time, not their big time player. That's like Aaron Judge, but he's like one of their.
Doesn't sound like you know him.
Yeah,
No.
you don't know who he is. He's a good young player on the Yankees, superstar potential if he's not there already.
Yeah, I need to
He's
study up more.
He's
That's for sure.
he's an untouchable for the Yankees.
Okay.
Al Avila wanted him for Matthew Boyd. Matthew Boyd, 5 ERA last year. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I mean, I don't see. I mean, obviously that's a stupid idea, but I mean, wasn't Matthew Boyd playing pretty good baseball for like a good month?
For 2 months, and then he derailed, and then Al Avila's like, "Yeah, I still want your best prospects in return." And it's like, dude, Al Avila he has no idea what he's doing. That's why I feel like this rebuild is so screwed.
I mean,
Like, you look around the league, you see teams like the Yankees who just keep on making awesome moves.
Other
you know?
than like the Yankees and maybe I don't even know, maybe the Astros. Who else has like a huge payroll?
I don't know about the Astros.
Maybe not the Astros.
They're in some deep trouble right now.
But I'm talking about who has a huge payroll that just drops money on players besides the Yankees.
Dodgers.
The Dodgers? Yeah, okay.
They don't drop big money on players, but they're
like the second highest payroll in baseball.
they're up there. I know.
So, I mean, other than like a few teams here and there, hasn't basically every team in the league adopted the Moneyball strategy? And it seems like the Tigers are the only ones playing 1990s baseball.
I mean, there are teams like the Tampa Bay Rays and Oakland A's who don't spend money and they're still good.
Yeah.
It's because they have good farm systems.
Yeah.
The Tigers don't got a good farm system.
Even the Red Sox. I did hear this. The Red Sox have completely scrapped Dave Dombrowski, who was our savior over here, and went with a Tampa Bay Rays guy because they think that's a better strategy. 1
year removed off of a World Series championship, they can Dave Dombrowski, who I am not related to, by the way. I get that question all the time.
I don't know. I still that's still up for debate. Because when I met you, you were all baseball all the time, so I was fully on board.
And look what the Tigers have done to me. Like, I'd rather talk about schlongs and cameras than
the moment
Tigers.
they canned Dombrowski, you started hating him. So I mean, I'm thinking there might be a little bit of familial hatred.
I don't hate the Tigers. I just hate the direction they're in. Like, we'll talk about the Red Wings in a second here because it's a good segue. Rebuild to rebuild. The Red Wings.
Well, rebuild to rebuild to rebuild because the Lions are in a rebuild. Don't forget that.
Oh yeah, according to Matt Patricia, they're in a. I'm not going to use the word rebuild. You can use whatever you want in the English dictionary. But, yeah, like...
Retool.
Yeah, did he say retooling? He had his press conference
I think he
today.
said retooling.
He had his press conference saying... Someone asked him, and he's like, yeah, you can use whatever word you want. We're just trying to get better every day. Kind of retool. It's like, what? Okay,
but either way,
screw the Lions.
Tigers.
Yeah, they blow too. Yeah, like, they just don't... From a position player standpoint, outside of Riley Green, who they took in the first round last year,
yeah, aren't they?
They ain't got no one in that farm system from a position player standpoint, and they're running out of players to trade. Like they traded all of their good trade assets already and got nothing for them. You know, Shane Green, they got Joey Wentz, a left-handed pitcher, and Travis Demeritte.
I guess you can wait 4 or 5 years to.
4 or 5 years.
To trade Cabrera or something, or at
least
least get him to retire or something.
That ain't happening. But, like, honestly, though, like, who could you point at this Tigers team from a position player standpoint and be like, that's our guy? They don't have him.
No.
He's not in Detroit, not in Toledo, not in Erie, not in West Michigan, not nowhere. Like, they are screwed.
How old was Castellanos when we traded him?
27, 28.
27?
I think.
So... if they wouldn't have gotten peanuts back for him, he could have at least been a building block.
No,
I mean, he did hate the team too.
He wanted out. Yeah. I mean, the Tigers, when he wanted to stay here, like he asked about contract extension, Al Avila said no. So he's like, all right, well.
Speaking of, what am I thinking of? With the Lions, they always talk about this with the culture of a team. The culture of the Tigers.
It's losing.
It's not only losing, but
it's getting smacked
I always
every
feel
night.
like for the past 6-7 years, the culture has always been the fans are just pieces of shit. and the
fans?
and the players. No, for the in the locker room, that's the culture. The fans, screw the fans.
The fans don't go. The fans don't care.
I know, but ever since we were like, even when we were winning, you got Prince Fielder saying, he doesn't do this for the fans. He's got a family back home. You got
well, those are just dicks.
you got people flipping off the fans while we're
like,
on
honestly, those are just
I was thinking to myself, I was like, that's a pretty shitty thing to say.
right. A former Tiger, John. His name is Tyler Collins. In 2016, like during a game, he like screwed up a play, and the fans were booing him because of it, because they were like good in 2016.
Yeah.
He flipped off the crowd.
Oh, that's fucking annoying.
And so
I'd be pissed.
And so did what's his name, the closer that was like
Joe
on this team
Nathan.
for like 2 months.
Yeah, another situation. His name is Joe Nathan. He was pitching, got a couple runs off of him, and he did like one of these to the crowd, which is like F you.
Scratching the nuts off your chin.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. There you go. Like, those are just bad people doing bad things, But like, the fans don't even care about this baseball team. That's how far they've fallen. This
But
used to be a
you don't-
really good baseball.
You don't
town.
think that's a culture? Because I mean that even leaked
That's
into
not-
Nick Castellanos this
that's not-
year,
that's not
and
gar-
Victor and Miguel have both kind of shared that same feelings too.
That's not Gardy's fault though. Like the
No,
manager.
but that's a team culture. Like the Lions
look at it-
culture
look at
has
it-
sunk
look at
all the
how-
way through each regime. It
Well,
keeps
then-
following through. I
well,
feel
then
like
you-
it's the same with the Tigers.
Well, then you look at Al Avila and be like, well, this is your fault.
Yeah.
Like, at least with the Red Wings, you know that it'll get better soon. Like the Tigers, I'm seriously, like, they might not be good for another decade. Like, that's how bad they are.
This is a good segue. Is Stevie Y the only good move that Illich has made since taking over both franchises?
Chris
Illich?
Yes. Yes.
He's the only good thing he's done.
That it might be, like, it's obviously the top thing. Like, I tweeted out earlier today, like, The Ringer on Twitter said, like, quote this with your favorite sports moment in 2019. For me, it was Stevie coming home.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's easily the best move he's made.
I can't even think of another one.
Is that the only good move he's made?
Probably.
Probably. He ain't no Mr. I. Rest in peace to him. But
I'm surprised he hasn't like accidentally sold off Little Caesars yet.
well,
I feel like he just bumbles his way through everything.
there's already rumors about him selling the teams. Who knows?
Whoops! I dropped this contract that anybody can just sign at any time to take over the teams.
Whoopsie! Little Caesars contract.
Friggin' Dan Gilbert owns Little Caesars now.
Perfect segue to the Red Wings, another rebuilding team in this city. Like, we don't have
The good
enough
one.
of them. The good one. I mean, the Red Wings are on some tough times right now. I mean, they're on a 12-game losing streak at the time of recording this. The NHL record's 17. They're probably going to break it.
Ooh,
Oh, there it is
Come
again.
the fuck on, dude.
Come on, John, get better equipment.
I've just been sitting here.
No, yeah,
It's gone.
okay, good.
Well, we'll see.
For now.
What were we saying? Oh,
The Red Wings.
Yeah, they've been losing a lot, but I feel like
They'll be fine.
their losing is fun. Not in the way that you
Whoa.
think. Not in the way that you think.
Define fun, because I watch this team every night. Define fun.
Their losing is fun in that you can see the direction they're going by losing. The Lions losing, I don't know what's going on. Tigers losing, it's just sad because there is no future. When the Red Wings lose,
I'll give you that.
when the Red Wings lose, they're building because they're losing.
At least you know with the Red Wings there's a future.
Yeah.
The pieces are
You can get excited knowing that them getting a really high draft pick next year
in a stacked draft class.
Yeah.
Yes.
is only adding to the rebuild
Yeah.
even further.
Yeah.
And you can't say that about the Lions or Tigers.
For the Red Wings, there are a few pieces up here already. Guys like Dylan Larkin, Anthony Mantha, Little Bert. There are guys in Grand Rapids like Zadina, Joe Valeno, Mo Sider, who are going to be key contributors as we get that noise again. But
This is horrendous.
I give up.
like the pieces
Cut
are
it.
This is horrendous.
like the pieces are here for the Red Wings. But they also have a top 5 GM in the sport. So, like, they'll be fine. It's not like the Tigers who have a bottom 5 GM and no pieces whatsoever.
Do I dare question if, not to say Stevie Y is not the guy, but do you think he's, do you think he's proven enough that he can get a team to win the Stanley Cup? I mean, he's proven enough.
Have you seen his teams in Tampa Bay?
I mean, there was rumors that when they were like Stanley Cup, good, that he wasn't as involved as he was in the previous years.
He was a GM.
Well, wasn't it like in the last year or two that he kind of stepped away or stepped down?
He stepped down a couple years ago, but it was still mainly his guys. Like, he drafted a lot of those guys.
That's true. I mean,
no, Stevie is a top 5 GM in the sport. There's no hockey expert that would argue that.
I just wanted to clear that air.
Yeah.
Of anybody that was like all worried about that portion of his career in Tampa.
Let me say this. If you're like, because there were people last night, because the Wings lost like 5-1 in Winnipeg for the 12th straight loss, there were people that were in my mentions like, oh man, I don't know, it's looking pretty bad. It's like, I was like,
Stevie's still dealing with all of the previous regime's players too.
This is mostly Ken Holland's roster. Yeah. Like, I was just talking about this with my co-host on Trash Talk earlier today. Could you imagine if Ken Holland was still here? We'd be talking about him being like shot out of a cannon.
He's Alex, like he'll like try to do an Al Avila thing of like trying to get these like veteran guys like, hey, we'll give you Dylan Larkin for some 34-year-old defender that's like at the back end of his career, but he's a proven guy. Or trying to trade Anthony Ciu.
But like,
I feel like that's what that's kind of what Al Avila is doing, and I feel like that's kind of what Ken Holland would be doing too.
I mean,
as he brings back Nielsen for the third time. And
speaking of Franz Nielsen, him and Justin Abdelkader are making a combined $9.5 million. They have 4 points this season combined.
Oh my god.
Which is not good for those non-hockey experts.
A good player gets like 80, 90, 100 points.
I kind of figured that. When he said 4, I was like, what the fuck? He's making $9 million for hitting 4 points.
Even someone who doesn't know sports knows that's awful.
I started laughing at it.
There you go. There you go.
He literally knows nothing.
There you go. That's my point. And, for the people that like question this Remy's rebuild, I'll ask you this. Which GM in this city do you trust the most? Steve Yzerman, Al Avila, Bob Quinn, Ed Stefanski.
I think that's a pretty low bar, though. Ed Stefanski's unproven. Bob Quinn and Al Avila have both proven incompetent.
But answer the question though. Who do you trust the most?
Stevie Y.
There you go.
But like I said, it's a low bar to clear. I mean, obviously you do trust Stevie Y, but it's like, okay, who else are you gonna trust?
Ed Stefanski, yes, but yeah.
And I don't know if I trust Ed Stefanski.
Well, we'll talk about Ed Stefanski next, but yeah, I mean, trust the Yzer plan, Troy. Say it with me.
Trust the Yzer plan.
There you go. Speaking of Alex Avila, because you brought him up on accident, the Tigers offered him a contract again. He chose the Minnesota Twins over them.
Dude, you know what's bad when your son says, fuck you, I'll go to your rival.
I mean, would you go the Tigers or the Twins? I mean, the Twins are a good baseball team, so.
I mean, yeah, but it's still funny that his own son doesn't want to play for him.
Exactly. Moving on to the Pistons. That's kind of your bread and butter. You're a big Pistons guy. So
gross. I didn't like. That's your bread and butter.
Slather it. Ooh, yeah. Just really making John cringe over here.
Just put the butter.
What the hell was that?
I don't know what it is. I think it's this. This is a bad. Just learned. This is bad. Need to get a new one.
Oh,
just period.
So it wasn't my fault.
No, it was because I literally watched your hand do this. I watched you do that, but like even this.
Yeah.
It's making noise, so I got to get a new cord.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ed Stefanski.
Is that where you want to start with the Pistons? Not them being stuck in the middle or anything? Just Ed Stefanski?
Oh, who said that? Was it Rachel Nichols from
ESPN.
The Jump?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which she's not wrong.
She's not.
No, they are stuck in the middle.
They've always been stuck in the middle, honestly.
For the past couple of years, they have been stuck in the middle.
Past decade.
I was trying to be nice with it, but yeah, Troy just said, let me dip my toe right in
I don't
there.
care. I'm passionate, man. This team used to
You're
be...
aggressively speaking.
I'm aggressively speaking, and what I'm aggressively speaking about is that this team is a shell of what it used to be. Even with the best player that they've had since Ben Wallace or Chauncey Billups in Blake Griffin.
I love Blake Griffin. It sucks that we're not going to be able to win with him. Like the
It
guy
really
came,
does.
the guy came here and literally had the best year of his career last year.
Yeah, he just came in here.
He adapted to today's NBA. He learned how to shoot the basketball,
Yeah.
and he excelled at it.
Might I say, he was like the best LeBron James player not named LeBron James.
He was really
No, that's more James Harden.
He was really, really good last year. I mean, obviously he had the best year of his career, and like I said, it sucks that we're not going to be able to win with him. But like, yeah, look at the pieces around him. I mean, it's just a bunch of ugh.
Yeah, I mean,
Like Andre Drummond, I'm leaning towards him not being someone you pay like all the money that he'll be asking for, because like Andre's obviously a really good player. I think he's
best rebounder of the new millennium.
Way undervalued. He's the best rebounder I've ever seen. He's a really underrated defender. You know, Andre's a good player, but I just don't know if I would pay him the amount of money that he'll be wanting, you know? And then outside of him, you have, you know, Reggie Jackson, who I don't think he'll be here next year. What?
I grabbed that water over there. But I'm listening.
Troy's dying over here.
Yeah, I am.
Troy's going to croak right on the show.
You can keep that water. You put your
Troy
sick,
is pissing and shitting.
I was going to allow you to fountain that. Not like
No, it was... Oh, was this your water?
it's not anymore.
Oh, yeah, I'm sick, so you don't want it back anyway.
As long as you don't croak on air, we're good.
Okay. I'll get you a new water after the show.
But
Anyway, I'm listening.
so like yeah, you got Reggie Jackson who won't be here after the year. You have the younger pieces like Luke Kennard, who I love Luke Kennard. He's a future piece you can keep around.
Will you be able to, though, or is it like one of those things, if you want to rebuild, you're going to have to package him in a deal?
No, you keep Luke Kennard around. We're not at that point yet. In the NBA, you can rebuild so quickly. Like, honestly.
I
You
guess.
just you have to know how to draft. That's the key. And that's actually a good segue to Ed Stefanski, because he's proven in his short 2-year stint as our, quote, GM that Bruce Brown's not bad in the second round.
Yeah, that's a pretty good second round selection there.
And your boy Sekou, I mean, he's kind of a wait and see kind of a pick, but
He's a Slappy's favorite player.
I love Sekou, dude. He's killing it in Grand Rapids.
I mean, he is, but it is Grand Rapids. He's putting up
That's fair. I mean,
all-star numbers in a minor league system.
I mean, I will agree there. We gotta wait a couple years to see what he can really do in the NBA, but we're still waiting on him.
Yeah.
But I still think he was a solid pick. I mean, who else were you going to take there, you know?
I kind of forget who was available, but
There you go.
well, that's just more of my lack of knowledge more than you making a statement.
But no, like, my point is you just have to hit your draft picks, especially in the NBA. In all sports you do, but in the NBA, if you want to rebuild quickly, just hit your picks. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Because there's only 5 guys on the court in the NBA, you know?
Yeah. I just think this whole town has a history of just getting guys that will bury your franchise for multiple years. I think
Stan Van Gundy ruined this team.
even John was digging that.
Sorry, I read something else.
Oh, damn.
Oh,
But hey, if I reacted correctly, we'll keep it.
Troy felt so good about that.
It's like if you can make John laugh about a sports-related topic, you know you just did something right.
Well, what was it? Let's give it a shot.
I'm good. I don't need to repeat it again.
But, like, yeah, I mean, Stan Van Gundy really ruined this franchise. Because, like, you talk about the Pistons and eventually probably rebuilding, because that's what I think they might do at the trade deadline.
You could have gotten some solid rebuilding pieces off of Tobias Harris and Boban instead of trading him to the Clippers for another superstar.
Well, listen, I love Blake, but yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. That Blake Griffin trade, it reeked of desperation for SVG to keep his job, and he still got fired. So, thanks, Stan. But, you know, whenever you talk about the Pistons rebuild, you'll get those people that are like, oh, they can't draft good anyway. It's like, dude, Stan Van Gundy's not here.
Well, they couldn't.
they couldn't withstand, but now with, Ed Stefanski, he's only had 2 draft picks really, and he's done fine.
He didn't have a first rounder last year, did he?
It was the Clippers because of
that's right.
trade.
That's right. Oh yeah, the Luke Kennard face. I forgot about that.
We could have had Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
That's right.
We got Blake.
Oh, what a miserable trade that was.
I mean, like I said, I love Blake, but
we celebrate him here. But
that trade, it was just like, come on, Stan. Like everyone knew that read to desperation. Like he made that trade to save his job and make the playoffs, and they still didn't make the playoffs, and he got fired.
So, I mean, as far as drafting goes, Ed Stefanski,
I trust,
leaning towards
if the Pistons rebuild, I do trust Ed Stefanski to rebuild this the right way.
But,
because, like, you look at the young pieces he's gotten on this team by himself, whether he drafted them or traded for them, Bruce Brown, Svi Mykhailiuk, guys in Grand Rapids like Jordan Bone, who's playing really well. Sekou. Like, the young pieces look promising, whether they're up here or in Grand Rapids.
Christian Wood.
Dude, I love Christian Wood. I'm so glad you brought him up.
I'll let you take the reins on him because you slobber all over that. Man.
Christian Wood is an absolute baller. Dude, the Pistons might have found something in him. Like if they do trade
their replacement for Drummond.
If they do trade Andre Drummond, I think you could put Christian Wood in there for the rest of the season. He might just show you something. I don't know.
He is a little bit more offensively flexible for sure.
He can shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, he can hit a 3. I wouldn't say he can like
better than Drummond.
Yeah, he can actually make a 3. He's made some pretty clutch threes too. Like in the I went to the game on Friday against the Pacers. Like he hit a pretty clutch 3 late in that basketball game.
Yeah,
but like
I mean, and how much I gotta ask you personally.
Mm-hmm.
How much does Drummond's rebounds really affect this team? That's what he's really known for. That's what he's the big shot on campus for. Does that really help this team in the long game? Is that really worth...
I think rebounding is an undervalued stat. I think it is more important than people think. Like, oh, all he does is rebound. First of all, no. But second of all...
It's not all he does, but that is his thing.
I know. But to answer your question, I mean, I'd rather have a dominant scorer than a dominant rebounder, but like Andre is still someone who could get. He's a walking 2020. I mean,
he is.
He is a really, really good center. Would you build around him?
They tried. They really did.
They tried. It's gotten to a point where it's like, I don't know now, So
53. That's nice.
Where are we at?
We're almost an hour in.
I like that. We still haven't even talked Michigan State.
Oh, boy.
I know you have a lot of thoughts on that.
I am a very rare breed in this state here.
So, to cap off professional talk, just kind of describe really quickly the type of sports fan you are from a professional standpoint. If we haven't already. Just so the audience really knows what they're getting with Troy Frank.
Honestly, I've always held this philosophy with the Lions, but considering our teams, other than like the Red Wings to an extent, are pretty incompetent seeming, I'll keep this philosophy for basically all of pro sports in this town. It's that you just expect the worst and hope for the best. Yeah, I mean, because that's what I would always do with the Lions. Like, expect 3-13, and if they go any higher than that, then you're like, wow, couldn't believe that.
Hey, 4-12.
Hey, 4-12. Wow, that's a lot better than I was thinking. And honestly, if they went 4-12, that's actually probably not as good as I'd want them to be, or not as bad as I'd want them to be, because that's not a good draft pick. So I don't know. I guess I couldn't ever be happy with that team. But yeah, I don't know. I try and be hopeful, but it's really hard, especially nowadays.
It's tough being a Detroit sports fan.
Yeah.
They're rough right now. Better days are ahead, but it's rough right now. Things are also rough for our college teams. So here's the funny thing about me and Troy. I'm a State fan. He's a Michigan fan. As he
Quote unquote.
As he pounds his head into the mic.
Quote unquote Michigan fan.
I think you would have heard the mic if he was pounding it in there.
This was Troy's. Okay, well, he was holding his head to the mic. Let me rephrase.
No, he was.
He was doing
a little pout.
Like an angry baby. Why are you an angry Michigan fan if I don't already know?
Quote unquote Michigan fan. I don't like to label myself as a Michigan fan. I have completely disassociated myself from this team. They
kind of like me with Michigan State football.
Yes, but yeah. It's basically the same reason you have is the same reason I have.
At least you're winning, though.
We aren't winning what we're supposed to be winning.
I know.
And, you know, it's not like you've had your ups, with D'Antonio. We haven't. Harbaugh's best accomplishment is what? A Sugar Bowl?
Beating Michigan State twice.
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah. Beating a Michigan State team that won 3 games and then another one that won 6 games. Wow. Congratulations. And everybody wants him back for like 13 years straight. Everybody wants him to sign a blank check of a contract.
Lifetime deal, Michigan man.
And it's so frustrating. Ohio State can literally put anybody in at coach and they will out-coach Jim Harbaugh. They can literally put in the Buckeye mascot to call plays.
The Buckeye mascot.
Him with his freaking O-shaped mouth.
That nut.
Okay, hold on. I know the Buckeye mascot. I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, he could be the coach of Ohio State, and Jim Harbaugh will just be completely destroyed in play calling. And it's like you pay a guy that much, and he's the savior of your whole entire college.
Close to 10 mil, yeah.
And he just does not know how to beat your most storied rival and your biggest game of the year every single year. You don't know how to win that game, no matter who's the coach and who are the players. It's like
Jim Harbaugh, literally this season and every single year, it seems like he always beats up the bad teams. But then when he faces the good teams, i.e. this year, ranked Wisconsin on the road, Ohio State at home, ranked Penn State in Happy Valley, and you lost all 3 games.
And I wouldn't feel this vitriolic against Jim Harbaugh because he is a lot better than what we've had in the past. He's a lot better than Brady Hoke.
No one's disagreeing with that. No,
I know, and I'm just saying I wouldn't be this mad about what he's been doing if it wasn't for this fan base constantly thinking that he is a lot better than he actually is. This fan base thinks he is like Urban Meyer level.
I say this all the time with whether it's the Lions, the Michigan State. It's okay to have high expectations for your teams. It seems like some of these fans are just they're worried to raise their expectations. Like Jim Harbaugh, it's okay to expect to beat Ohio State. You got these guys like Colin Cowherd that go on the air and they're like, why would you expect them to beat Ohio State? They're on a different planet than them. Well, it's your biggest rival. I mean,
yeah, you should want to beat them every year.
Michigan State
should have the confidence.
Michigan State was nowhere close to being on Michigan's level this year. I still expect them to win that game because hey, it's your biggest rival. You should win. Yeah. You should try to win that game. And if you don't, it's a failure.
And in the trouble with the snap game, they were definitely huge underdogs against Michigan in that game, and they still ended up winning. So, I mean, it's possible. It's possible. But
Michigan State, we've done it before. We've went into the shoe and being a really good Ohio State team with a backup quarterback.
Yes. And why is it so impossible for any team wearing blue and yellow to come in there and do it?
Because this is Michigan. Oh my God. So you're obviously really frustrated with Jim Harbaugh. And you would fire him.
Oh, in a heartbeat. And I go back to what you guys are saying about firing Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn. I don't care who you get to replace them. I just want something different. I mean, go look for somebody. That's why you have coaching interviews. That's why you go through the process to find somebody that is capable of taking over the job that could possibly do a better job than the person you've had before.
I'm not disagreeing with you there. I mean, Ohio State's not going to get any worse. They're only getting better. Like, especially next year. Justin Fields will be back. Ryan Day is an elite, like, damn near NFL play caller. Like, he is a genius offensively.
Yeah.
Like, Ohio State ain't going anywhere. When are you going to beat Ohio State? It might not ever happen.
Something needs to change in order for you to do that.
And when will it get to a point where it's like, gee, maybe we should make a change? That's not going to happen. Michigan's never going to fire Jim Harbaugh.
He's their guy.
I know.
And it's...
The only way Harbaugh leaves is if he literally gets up and takes a job with the NFL.
Which, I mean...
Hey,
Carolina's calling.
Hey, according to Bet Shark or whatever, Odd Shark, he's a top betting favorite.
Say hello to Cam Newton for me.
But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of where I am with Michigan State, too. Like, you mentioned it. We had some really good moments with D'Antonio. Obviously, the playoff year, the Cotton Bowl win over Baylor. Like, we had some really good moments with Mark D'Antonio. But, end game, man. Spoilers. Every journey has an end. I mean, for God's sakes, if this isn't the end of the D'Antonio era, I don't know what is.
If you're comparing D'Antonio now to Iron Man, get the hell out of here.
That's not what I was saying. I was just saying his quote, every journey has an end.
Okay.
D'Antonio's not snapping his fingers. That's not what I was saying.
No, AD better be doing that.
Oh, Bill Beekman? No, he's sleeping in his office.
Snapping that entire coaching staff out of there.
He's not a real AD. He's sleeping in his office somewhere. Yeah. Him and Al Avila are...
He's waiting outside D'Antonio's...
They have the same app on their phone where they play like thunderstorm music, and it's like... to help him sleep at night. Like, Bill Beekman's asleep in his office.
Oh,
he would never fire
I thought
D'Antonio.
he's just canceling calls just so he could play Candy Crush.
He's either doing that or he's flat out asleep. Like, he's not a real AD. He would never fire D'Antonio.
Yeah.
But, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's okay to raise your expectations with Michigan State. For State, even though I came into the season with no expectations because I kind of knew this would happen, at the same time, I was like... maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe they'll sucker me back in, and maybe they can surprise us.
I don't know what to do at this point. I don't know what to do. It's so bad.
I guess I'll just talk through it.
The show must go on. But, the Michigan State, it's been a complete trash bin this year, and it's only been getting worse since really the playoff. After getting smoked by Bama. Yeah, they got the Cotton Bowl win after that, but maybe after that 3-9, and then after what looked like to be a revival the next year, it just went downhill in 18 and went downhill in 19.
Maybe Bama's the secret touch. Maybe after Michigan gets their ass kicked in by Bama, come the New Year's Day or whenever the game is. I think it is New Year's Day.
Citrus Bowl, New Year's Day, 12 o'clock ESPN.
Yeah, when that happens, maybe this will all fall apart, and hopefully when it does, they realize that they need a new coach.
Yeah.
The moment Harbaugh goes below 8 wins, maybe this team will finally wake up. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but maybe, like I said, maybe Bama's the secret touch to make that happen.
Who knows? But all those Michigan fans that are tweeting #We want Bama. Yeah, you got them. Have fun. You're facing a pissed off Nick Saban team who's got a month to prepare for you and his former assistant. Have fun. Take it from someone who's gotten their ass kicked in the playoff by a pissed off Nick Saban team. It ain't fun. It ain't fun whatsoever.
I can't wait to watch a horror movie on New Year's Day.
I can't wait to watch a pinstripe bowl with Michigan State Wake Forest.
Good Lord. Might as well just be watching a high school game.
I'm going to sleep with, I'm going to be doing the Bill Beekman thing. I'll just be sleeping. Oh, there's a game? Oh, crap.
I do have one Michigan State question for you.
What's up?
There's a quote from Tom Izzo floating around out there. I think it was from the morning show.
They're another team I'm pissed off at, but...
Tom Izzo said, if they force D'Antonio out of his position, Izzo's following him right out the door. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, right. That's not happening.
You don't think that's a little solidarity among the Michigan State coaches?
They've always been solidified together,
Yeah, so you don't think that's a bunch of hooey?
No, Tom Izzo's not going to walk out with D'Antonio. Tom Izzo proved last year he's still got a couple good years left in him.
Yeah, but you just said it yourself. Those two are like solidified together. You don't think that if Izzo thinks that D'Antonio was unjustly fired, that he would walk out the door along with him?
He's not getting fired, first of all. If he
Maybe not fired, but pushed out.
If D'Antonio retired, no. Why would Izzo retire?
No, but that was Izzo's whole point, is if he's pushed out of his job, Izzo will follow.
He won't be, though. That's not happening.
No, Izzo's voluntarily following him out the door.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen.
You don't think so?
No way.
Okay. I memean, I don't think that it's ever going to happen either.
No, it's not ever going to happen.
So I don't think we're ever going to come to that situation. But I mean,
No.
I think Izzo's has a monicum of truth in there.
Izzo's got a lot of nerve, though. I mean, his basketball team ain't looking all bad either. I mean, they preseason number one.
He's kind of asking fans to go, all right, see ya, when he says something like that.
He's asking for fans to be critical. Like, man, preseason number one, title favorites. Your team can't shoot a three. They can't guard a three. Like, they struggle in the paint when Xavier's out. They have foul trouble. They turn the ball over constantly. Like, they look like a bad basketball team right now.
Yeah. I mean, you summarized it. There's nothing else I could really say. As far as
got pants in the biggest game of the year against Duke. I mean, Kentucky in the Champions Classic, they let Maxey pound them. I mean,
if there's anything else I can say about it, I don't know. You tell me.
There is nothing to say. I hate to bring this up, but it seems like it's the truth. I mean, it just really seems like, obviously, the unfortunate passing of Cassia Winston's brother, it's just kind of hanging around this team from a emotional
You think it's kind
standpoint.
of like this, this thing that's hanging over them that they just can't shake when they're playing, going through the motions?
It's hard for the team because they're a family, you know?
Yeah.
I get that. I'm not saying the season is because of that, but
yeah,
I just, it's an unfortunate circumstance, But,
very true.
But still, this team still has some major problems that the title favorites shouldn't have. Like after the Virginia Tech loss a couple weeks ago in the Maui Invitational, I said in a video, I'm like, guys, there's something wrong here. And people are like, telling you're overreacting. They'll figure it out. I'm like, are you so sure about that? I mean, they were the title favorites, and they don't look like title favorites. Right now, they look like a team that's going to get bounced in the Sweet 16, if we're being honest here. Yeah. Which, that's not what I signed up for, man. Last year, I would have accepted that. This year, hell no. I have national title or bust this year.
In a little bit brighter news in the topic of college basketball, I do think that Juwan Howard is doing a little bit better than I would have expected out of him.
Yeah, screw Michigan State. Let's just talk Michigan. Yeah, I mean, when Juwan Howard was hired, I was one of the people, I made a video. I'm like, this is one of the rare occasions where I'm going to be like, I really don't know what to think of this.
Yeah,
he literally never has been a head coach before, so I don't know if this is good or not. I wasn't the Mike Valeni who said this is an awful hire because he never coached before. I said I don't know what to make of this. He never coached before. Let's see what he can do.
I do think it was kind of like a weird thing to put a team that already has like a scheme in place and throw a guy that's never really drawn up a scheme before in there too.
This is a John Beilein team if I've ever seen one.
They handed him a John Beilein team and say, here, do something good with it.
Anyone and everyone can nail a three. They will lock you down defensively, and this team plays fast too. That might be the Juwan Howard effect, but this team plays really quickly, and it was
a lot quicker than John Beilein ever had them moving, for sure.
It was against Gonzaga a few weeks ago on Black Friday. They were playing so quick, like Gonzaga, they flat out couldn't be on the same floor as Michigan. And you do have to give credit to Juwan Howard because as a first-year head coach doing this quickly, yeah, it's really impressive. Michigan was unranked coming into the season, and
he's kind of everything you'd expect out of a first-year head coach.
They're the number 4
everything you'd want to expect.
They're the number 4 team in the country right now.
Yeah.
Like, they went from unranked to number 4. That's insane. I'm pretty sure that's the biggest jump in like 70 years or something like that.
Wait a second. I didn't know about that. That was in one foul swoop.
After they
jumped all those spots.
After they won that invitational in the Bahamas, in which they beat North Carolina Gonzaga in 2 straight days, they went from unranked to 4. Yeah. With a first-year head coach.
Holy moly.
Juwan Howard's doing some really good stuff there, you know?
He is.
And
wow.
though they lost to the number 1 team in the country on the road, no one really expected them to win that game.
Big shocker.
Yeah. Juwan Howard, this looks like a team that could compete for the Big Ten this year. And the Big Ten looks scary this year. I mean, you got Michigan. Ohio State looks nasty, as if they needed another really good sports team in Ohio.
So I'm pretty sure their badminton team's pretty good, too.
I'm pretty sure they got the top cross-country team in the land. Ohio State. Obviously, Purdue is always kind of in the mix, even though I think they're unranked right now. Maryland's a top 5 team.
Wisconsin fall off, or
they're not
I haven't
ranked.
really heard
but
anything about
they're
them.
not. They're not ranked
long
this year,
time.
but they're not ranked. But I think they'll always be they'll be there.
They're scrappy.
Illinois, they're a scrappy team this year to start. Penn State just upset Maryland the other night. I mean, the Big Ten looks loaded this year, and you got little old Michigan State in the corner being like, come on, Tom, what are we doing?
Oh,
here?
my goodness. You would not expect that from the most prestigious school in the Big Ten.
I'm so
just to be
frustrated.
all huddled up in the corner.
I'm so frustrated with Michigan State basketball this year. Honestly, every single Michigan State fan came into the season, it's national championship or bust this year, with no expectations last year, and with Joshua Langford hurt, you went to the Final Four. This year, you better win the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
And especially in a year in which I don't think there's one great team.
There's no Zion Williamson Duke.
Whether it was Michigan State, Duke, Kentucky, Louisville, all these number 1 seeds are getting upset.
Yeah. It's not even the tournament.
Every single number 1 team this year has lost a basketball game.
Yeah, there's no undefeateds. You're
There's
at least expecting an undefeated team to make it to February.
There's 3 random ones, but I don't think there's any undefeated teams.
No, 3 random ones is
I don't know if Kansas is undefeated or not, but Kansas, screw them.
Non-Power 5 conference teams.
Yeah, but there's not that one dominant team this year, and that can play into the benefactor of a Michigan or Ohio State. A Michigan State, well, in a year like this, you should be picking it up a bit. And when you're not, your fans are going to be like, hey, what the hell are you doing, okay?
Yep.
So
I think we just about touched all the bases we need to in this first episode.
I'm getting sick and tired of talking. I had my radio show today. I did this, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean...
When your brain's fried, your brain's fried. Let's be honest.
Right.
Man,
I'm toast.
Literally.
I need to pull Bill Beekman and Al Avila and go to bed.
Tony's not even going to drive home. He's just going to sleep there.
Dude, John, you got a spare bedroom open?
Nope.
Nope. Tony, you're sleeping in your car.
My cold Renegade.
Yeah. 20 degrees out there.
Hey,
just run the car.
I'm wearing shorts, man. So the weather doesn't even.
You did that to yourself.
I did do this myself. I got home.
They'll be warm for about 20 minutes. Use them as a pillow.
I got home, took my pants off, and then when I was coming here, I'm like, I don't want to put jeans back on.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but
this was fun though.
This was fun. I enjoyed doing this.
It's 5 years in the making, but we finally got a podcast. Shout out to John for making this happen.
Yes, thank you very much, John. Even though your equipment's been a little noisy today, I appreciate it.
I don't think it's the equipment. I think it's external sources, but we'll figure it out.
Either way, I appreciate it very much for you hosting this.
No problem.
Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Aggressively Speaking with Tony and Troy.
Signing off.